Now, coming up in this afternoon's bulletin, cases of Omicron variant shoot up to 41. We have details coming up shortly. Network in the OT region. We are bringing you details of these stories and many more, including some stories in the world of business, international sports and entertainment. Do stay with us. A big thanks to you for choosing to stay with us. If you just tuned in, this is Pan-African News Live from our studios here, 48 Swanika Street, Abelimpia, Accra, Ghana. We are live across 46 African countries and some part of Europe. And we are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television, the news in detail. Former national chairman of the People's Convention Party, Bernard Mona, has stated that Ghana needs to arrest the current political decay and introduce a new political order that is responsive to our local peculiarity. According to him, if something is not done about Ghana's current political order, the country would be gravely affected as a whole.
And bring in a new political order that is responsive to our local peculiarities. If we allow the current political decay to fester, we are finished. We are finished. Because you get up and you have everybody just opening the mouth, and when they open the mouth, the stench from the mouth put you under. Because you have people coming to tell you that, oh, mobile money using is not compulsory. And therefore, don't use mobile money and you will not pay e-levy. This is coming from your colleague in parliament. And our kids are watching. His kids are watching. So education really has not helped us. Formal education has not helped us to do what I call. Look, Cuba took 1 year. Cuba took 1 year to eradicate illiteracy under Fidel Castro. 1 year. Why? All MPs like ABF Husseini, when you are on recess, they went into their communities to teach. Everybody, Kwame, when you close from here, your times at work is defined. When you close, you are given a certain section of the community to go and teach. Everybody concentrated on teaching, and they were able to liberate themselves. Where we sit now, our education is only about classroom. That is not education. That is reading and writing. Education sinks into you certain morals of our society. Education is not just the capacity to read and write. Yes. It goes beyond that.
Now, away from that, Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Abnadapa, has reiterated government's commitment to making Accra the cleanest city in West Africa. She made the disclosure at the annual Thanksgiving service of Zoom Lion Ghana Limited here in Accra.
The service is an annual event that brings together all workers of the waste management company, Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, members of the public, including government officials and traditional leaders, to thank God. Speaking at this year's event, Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Abnadapa, reiterated government's support to the waste management sector in making Ghana the cleanest country.
Government, in its capacity, has always encouraged the private sector, including your Jospong group of companies, to excel. The government has created the enabling environment for all those who are interested, especially in this space of sanitation and adding value to our waste, to go on and work within that space. We must all congratulate Jospong group of companies for what they have achieved so far. We must not hesitate to acknowledge what they are doing right and also to draw their attention to what they can do better and improve on what they are doing. In all circumstances, I have noticed that the chairman always wears a smile. It doesn't mean he doesn't have challenges, but I have noticed that in all things, he has continued to give praise and thanks to glorify God. And what he's doing is in line with government's vision to make Accra clean and to make Ghana a cleaner and healthier place for all of us to dwell in. I wish to encourage him on behalf of His Excellency the Vice President to continue doing good in his business. We all know that the sanitation environment led by ESPA, where he happens to be the chairman, they all strive, the members strive for excellence in the management of our solid and liquid waste. We also have this saying that waste is wealth. They have literally proven that indeed that is a truism. They are adding value to the waste, they are recycling, they are turning waste into compost, and I know that with God on our side, very soon we'll be creating green energy from the waste, and also will even produce biofuel from the waste. And it's all the private sector teaming up with government to do this. We say AYICO to just one group of companies. The government will render its support 24/7, and I, being the sanitation and water resources sector, I pledge my ministry's support to the company.
Gamanche, His Royal Majesty King Narki-Teye Kochu II, pledged his support for the company.
We can have more of such conglomerates and therefore less of unemployment in Ghana. I encourage today's entrepreneurs to learn from entrepreneurial giants like Dr. Joseph Sian Ejapon. I also pray that they will not be perturbed, because it's not very easy to start from such a humble beginning and get where he's gotten to. And I would like to also assure you that the Zoom Lion Group has my personal commitment and support of the Ghana Traditional Council to enable you and your conglomerate to create more opportunities for the good people of this country and for the city of Accra. Let me use this opportunity to thank the people of Accra for the support received since my installation.
Chairman of Jospon Group of Companies, Dr. Joseph Sian Ejapon, expressed his appreciation to the government for its invaluable contribution in supporting the waste management sector.
Give me a trance in a vision, seeing a burden that is being used in collecting trash, and that have metamorphosed to this today. He himself, the Lord Almighty, have developed it, and that's how it have come this far. And so when it comes to end of year, we dedicate a week fasting and praying and thanksgiving to the Almighty God for his love and kindness that he has shown to this company. Shown a serious commitment and has done unprecedented thing by setting up, commissioning 37 or 8 compost and recycling plants, wastewater plants, medical plants all over across the country. And this can never be seen in any part of Africa. I've traveled to South Africa, to Nigeria, to where the bigger none of it can you see in there. This shows the good leadership and the kind of thought that this man has for this country. And we must all commit to his cause, support him, and then pray for him.
He also assured the public that about 1 million waste bins will be distributed next year to help the fight against poor sanitation.
The Statistical Service have just, by statistics, Ghana, we have about 8 million and over households. And we, Zoom Lion, have dedicated 1 million bin that to start with. 1 million households, each of them should have a bin so that it can assist. Because the waste, when you generate and you don't have a place to dump into it or place into it, it becomes a place. It becomes a nuisance, or that's where you see waste moving all around. So we are committed to this 1 million being cost. We are employing all citizens to get access to it. Whenever we are announcing free bins, get access to it so that you litter into a bin. When you litter into a bin, it helps everywhere to be clean. Charity begins at home. The child will learn how to litter into a bin and everybody will litter into a bin.
Over the years, Zoomlion Ghana Limited has been an active leader in the sanitation industry. As the leading waste management company in Ghana, the firm has been a key stakeholder during the COVID-19 pandemic last year through their partnership with government.
Now, still on our local front, an astute educationist who once served as former Director of Education at the Ghana East Municipal Assembly, Florence A.C. Damali, has urged government to invest heavily in education. She made the disclosure at the official opening ceremony of Happy Royal International School. We return with more stories after this break.
Hello? Okay, why? My wife comes and send a message you. Your office is going to hello? I didn't know. What's happened?
It's a child who be a quiet say what? I did say,
we signed for a friend. I'm so years. You are not testing messages here. And our office also. I'm trying to tell you, man. She says, I
mean, so we a guy, Manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Ghana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be Frey 0240 333 111 and that's 0244 144 822.
Me and Pa and you want swimming pool me see. Me want to will be here. Family drilling now. Family drilling.
What fast is your last shit?
Me out with that.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
Now let's do some more stories. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Abuaji, has disclosed that 7 more persons infected with the Omicron variant of COVID-19 have been identified in the country, bringing the total number of cases to 41. According to him, the cases were detected after community testing conducted reviewed those which were initially recorded at the Kotoka International Airport.
Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje added that about 34 cases were recorded at the airport. At the time, the Ghana Health Service had sequenced about 66 community samples, which turned out all negative. But after a second batch of about 44 tests were conducted, 7 more cases were detected. He noted, however, that the dominant variant in our communities remains the Delta variant. On December 2nd, 2021, the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research announced the detection of 34 cases of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 in the country. In a tweet to announce the new cases, Noguchi said the imported cases were detected in 120 samples collected between November 21st and November 25th. The tweet further stated that the Omicron variant was detected in 28% of returning traveler samples collected from November 21st to November 25th. According to them, those were the first imported cases of the variant into Ghana, and they were closely monitoring its potential spread in the local population. Following the detection of the new variant, the Ghana Health Service made some modifications to its protocols regarding foreign travel through the Kotoka International Airport.
Member of the International Secretariat of Palestine and PDS National Committee, Maureen Montavani, has asserted the rationale behind BDS movement, saying it was created in 2005 to help Palestine against illegal occupation by Israel.
BDS National Committee is fundamentally a coalition of all the different political and social forces in Palestine who came together in 2005 after already decades of struggle of the Palestinian people against the occupation that started in the 60s with the armed struggle and continued then with the popular uprising, the Intifada in the 80s, the attempt to build negotiations in the 90s, and then in the 21st century that looking back and saying how can we actually get to a situation where negotiations are even possible and without pressure on the occupation that has the power, that profits from that power. It is not even possible to think the possibility of negotiations, and that pressure comes through BDS. Boycott, divestment, and sanctions. So in 2005, and that was some 5 years after the World Conference Against Racism in South Africa, where many Palestinian activists and South African activists met together. And it wasn't only that the moment where then the entire civil society that was united to fight racism in South Africa at that time, in the year 2000, understood that what Israel is not only occupation, it is additionally as well apartheid. The crime against of apartheid is still living on in Palestine against the Palestinian people. And from that understanding and from that communication with South Africa and South Africa more in general, that dialogue between the peoples, came then the inspiration to start another boycott movement, the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement against Israel, to hold Israel accountable for its crimes. So the BDS National Committee is that body that was then formed to give the leadership, the guidance, the reference for the many different organizations across the world that have joined in and act together in order to put pressure on Israel, boycott Israel, sanction Israel, isolate Israeli apartheid in order to be able to give the necessary support to the Palestinian people.
The Italian further expressed her concern about the seedling warring situation in Palestine.
Now, you're obviously not Palestinian yourself. How did you come to be involved in this struggle?
Yeah, I'm Italian, and I came almost 20 years ago, for the first time to Palestine. It was supposed to be just some kind of a solidarity visit, a solidarity brigade, see, learn, and then go back. But it was a very particular moment in the Palestinian history, and it was what we call the re-invasion of the West Bank. I.e., just to understand Palestine, the entire historic Palestine is currently occupied by Israel. 22% of what is historic Palestine have been occupied in 1967. The rest, Israel yields control since the end of the Second World War in 1948. And in those 22%, the 67 territories, how we call them, the West Bank and Gaza, Israel entered by force with all the military might they had in April 2002 into the city centers and wreaked havoc, destroyed everything that could be destroyable in various places. Jenin in particular, where I was, it was a large-scale massacre, completely destroying everything. And among the rubbles and among the literally dead bodies and people trying to survive, one thing that everybody told me is, how is it possible that the world is not watching? How is it possible that the world still supports Israel? Go and do something, tell the world. And more or less that's what I'm still trying to do, then joint Palestinian organizations in order to have Palestinian leadership and be useful to the Palestinian movements and organizations. And since then I'm in Palestine and around the world trying to be a messenger for the Palestinian people.
Now let's go back to our previous story, where an astute educationalist who once served as former Director of Education at the Ghana East Municipal Assembly, Florence A.C. Damali, has urged government to invest heavily in education. She made that disclosure at the official opening ceremony of Happy Royal International School.
HRIS, one of Ghana's up-and-coming international schools, with an acknowledged reputation for discipline and excellence, is considered the #1 in the Uyarifa community and its environs because of the quality tuition the school offers children, despite the fact that it is at the young stage of its establishment. Happy Royal International School was envisaged by the Chief Executive Officer, Happy Kofi Agbenyenu, who mooted the idea of establishing the school a couple of years ago. The school's official opening ceremony, held amidst pomp and pageantry, was graced by high-profile dignitaries. Speaking at the event, a former Director of Education at the Ghana East Municipal Assembly, Florence A.C. Damali, reiterated that education was holistic, so government must blend co-curricular activities with academic training to bring out the best in students across the length and breadth of Ghana.
My view about education is that education should be a holistic form of program where every part of the individual must be developed, so that after going through the process, the person should be able to be his or her own entrepreneur. That is when there is no area to take him or her to. So I want to emphasize that the grammarian education that we inherited from those who colonized us should be readdressed so that it can benefit the land on which we are.
Director of Happy Royal International School, Emilia Agbenyenu, also touched on the successes chalked so far.
I have always been an unrepentant and unashamed advocate for quality holistic education. It is my belief that the growth of these children in our care become vital for a successful future of our nation, Ghana. Focusing on every aspect of a child's growth, we encourage and promote the child's sense of belongingness and achievement through a series of devoted, powerful teaching and learning activities based on trust. The school is striving hard to make the best possible efforts to inculcate healthy values along with academic and co-curricular activities.
Reporting for Pan-African News, Daniel Kwabna.
Some motorists and commuters who ply the road connecting Nkwanta and VOT regional capital are calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, fix the road. Speaking to VOT regional correspondent Samali Abdullah Razak, they bemoan the dusty nature of the road. Now, the deplorable road, which was awarded a contract under the erstwhile John Dramani Mohammed's administration, has been left unattended to.
More than necessary. Even within the, how do you call it, beginning of November to the end, more than 5 accidents, either it being car or motorbike. As for the motorbike, it's uncountable. For motorbike, it's uncountable. The cause of the accident is simply because of the bad nature of the road. It's the bad nature of the road. This one, very simple. The government must come to our aid. Other than that, there is saying that an increase in the number of accidents lead to an exponential increase to the number of deaths this constituency or this municipality will record. So they must do something about this road. They should come and then just tie up the road for us.
Sign queen, but they seen there. Your man penny and another or by him. One young Asian family. They be a or my yard my best 6 months. Now, or Marco break. Yen huni ya kwa so kwano so yenim se omo twense voting time ansana omo nsambe kwano mayo yenim nya omo pa kire kwano so ti esre na na so mbe kwano mayo.
That's all on our local front. Business is next.
Hello? Okay, why? My wife comes and send a message. Hello? What's happened?
It's a chunk who's will be a quiet say what? A dear sir.
Besides, friend of friend, I'm so near you. You have not testing messages here. And our officer, so I'm trying to tell you, she says, I
mean, so we a guy manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be, Frey 0240-333-111, and NASA 0244-144-822.
Miampa and we want swimming pool on me see. Me want to, we'll be here. Family Drilling now. Family Drilling.
What fast is your last set?
We out with that shit.
Oh, it's incredible! Bang on target!
You're still watching Pan-African News. Welcome to the business segment of the news. Now, President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Aka-Nyamike Jr. has allayed fears concerning outbreak of the Omicron variant of COVID-19, which has ravaged most parts of the world. Now, speaking on Pan-African News, he also admonished Ghanaians to undergo vaccination and charged clients who will visit hotels during the festive season to strictly abide by the safety protocols.
The fatal coronavirus pandemic, which ravaged Ghana on March 12, 2020, has wreaked severe havoc in every part of the country. On November 26, 2021, World Health Organization designated the variant B1.1.529 a variant of concern named Omicron on the advice of World Health Organization's Technical Advisory Group on Virus Evolution. In a bid to prevent a fourth wave of COVID-19 in Ghana, the government has declared December as a month of vaccination. The exercise will be targeted at specific groups and venues including nightclubs, beaches, and restaurants. Persons who intend to visit beaches, restaurants, sports stadium, will thus not be allowed entry if not vaccinated. The director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje, disclosed this at a press conference on November 28, 2021. In consonance with this, Pan-African News Daniel Kwabna Asare interacted with the president of Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Aka-Nyamike Jr., on measures his outfit has rolled out to mitigate the spread of the pandemic as Christmas draws near. According to him, the hospitality industry should ensure strict conformity to safety protocols.
We don't need to worry too much about this Omicron variant as far as the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. And I say so relative to our Ghanaian environment, because if you go back to March 2020 when the virus was detected here, from that time till now you may have realized that the government and indeed the whole state, all of us, have managed the pandemic quite well compared to other countries. We need to do, and this is what the hotels are doing, we are continuing to observe the protocols. If you go to any hotel, you are expected to go through the temperature checks, expected to go through the hand sanitizer regime, you are expected to have your nose mask on. And let me use this opportunity to even tell patrons and clients and customers who go to hotels, this whole pandemic is a collective responsibility for all of us to control it. So if anybody comes, or if you go to a hotel and they are not observing it, you have every right to raise issues with the hotel. And for me, that's a way to get all of us to be on our guard. The other aspect of it is the vaccine or the vaccination. I'm sure you are aware that the Ghana Health Service has declared the month of December as the vaccination month, and that is to get a lot of people to be vaccinated based on a simple principle that the more people are vaccinated, the less the virus or the pandemic will be a challenge. So we are hoping that a lot of people will go beyond the myth, will go beyond some of the funny rumors that are being peddled concerning vaccination, and actually get vaccinated so that we'll be able to deal with this pandemic. I understand and I have heard that the health service also wants to limit admittance to various events or places with the use of the COVID-19 vaccination card. I mean, like if you are entering a place, you need to show your card. Well, in principle, we don't have a problem with that, except that we expect that the vaccination campaign will go on so well in this December, so that a lot of people will be vaccinated. And then when we are demanding the card for entry to our facilities or events or places, then there will be a logical justification for that.
Well, we bring you some stories for our international partners that people's this past. Don't go anywhere.
Hello? Okay, why? My wife comes and send a message you. Hello? What's happened?
It's a chunk who's will be a quiet say what? A dear sir.
We signed for a friend. I'm so young. No, I was not testing messages here. And the office also. I'm trying to tell you, man. She says, I
mean, so we a guy manu and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Here to borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be Frey 0240 333 111 and NASA 0244 144 822.
Miampa and you want swimming pool on me see? Me want to will be here. Family drilling now. Family drilling.
What fashion yala shit?
Me out with that
Oh, it's incredible! Bang on target!
On an international front, on Human Rights Day, a British court cleared the way for the extradition of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to the US, where he will stand trial on espionage charges. On Friday, December 10, the High Court of Justice in London overturned the decision by Judge Vanessa Beratza of Westminster Magistrates Court in January this year to deny the US extradition request.
The High Court's decision was made on the appeals plea filed by prosecutors representing the U.S. against Judge Beratza's decision. While presenting the decision, Lord Justice Timothy Holroyd argued that the decision was limited to whether the district judge was wrong to find that it would be oppressive to extradite him based on Assange's mental health situation. In the ruling, the court argued that Judge Beratza should have notified a provisional view and given time to the U.S. to offer assurances regarding prison conditions in the U.S. and its incarceration arrangements for Assange. The court also stated that it was satisfied with the U.S. assurances that it would not be putting Assange under special administrative measures, a controversial policy of solitary confinement, or holding him in a supermax prison. Beratza's January decision to deny extradition was based on conditions of Assange being put through such arrangements while in U.S. custody. Beratza found it would be oppressive to extradite him due to these concerns: the medical evidence presented by Assange's defense team that he was a suicide risk if extradition becomes imminent, and the serious mental health issues that he already suffers from. While Assange's defense team is expected to appeal against the High Court's decision at the UK Supreme Court. The case will be forwarded to the UK Home Secretary, who had earlier sanctioned the US extradition request immediately after it was filed in 2019. Assange is currently being held at the high security prison in Belmarsh under judicial remand without any charge or conviction. Once extradited, Assange will face a federal grand jury in the US and stand trial for 17 charges under the infamous Espionage Act and 1 charge of conspiring to hack into government computers. The High Court decision was strongly criticized by human rights groups, journalists and supporters of Julian Assange. This is an utterly shameful development that has alarming implications not only for Assange's mental health, but also for journalism and press freedom around the world. Rebecca Vincent, the UK Bureau Director of Reporters Without Borders, said in a statement, Secretary General and Director General of RSF, Christophe Deloire, said, quote, "We condemn today's UK High Court decision to allow the extradition of Julian Assange to the US, which will prove historic for all the wrong reasons. We fully believe that Julian Assange has been targeted for his contributions to journalism," unquote. On UN Human Rights Day, a UK court throws investigative journalism into darkness and continues the torture of Assange, said Christine Rasmussen, editor-in-chief of WikiLeaks. This fight will not end here. Stella Morris, Assange's partner, called it a grave miscarriage of justice and highlighted the past actions of the US in hounding Assange. How can it be fair? How can it be right? How can it be possible to extradite Julian to the very country which plotted to kill him? Morris is quoted to have said. Kevin Costello, who reported live from the judgment, called the decision a threat to global press freedom. President Biden's administration cannot reasonably claim to support principles of democracy and human rights while at the same time seeking the extradition of a publisher, Julian Assange.
Credit goes to our international partners, the People's Dispatch. Sports News is next.
And it's not decided true man capsules and so at their brand. I can think of myself good deal to me, dear Michi. At the account, now you're bear man, a ball.
Truman capsules. One mama ya bema bion.
Truman ye marima drew and mofra woni imfiedu watchi into me numbi. Sa jadi enkra to we FDA for shemu aja to say she.
Hello?
Oh, Sisena sound.
Okay, wait a minute. Why? My wife comes and send a message you. Your face is going to hello? What's happened?
It's a child who be a say what?
Miss Side friend of friend, I'm so here too. No, I'm not testing messages here. And now, officer, so I'm trying to tell you, she says, I
mean, so we a guy manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing west in Naso, ye be, Frey 0240-333-111, and Nasa 0244-144-822.
Miampa and we want swimming pool, we see. We want to, we'll be here. Family Drilling, family drilling.
What fast is your last shit?
We out with that shit.
It's incredible. Bang on target.
In sports, the match day 7 of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League ended at the various stadia with some intriguing results. Today, the Sports Desk takes a look at the results of all the matches.
Ashanti Gold defeated Wafa for the first time in 14 years in Tsogakope with a narrow 1-0 win, while Kinfeser extended their lead at the top with victory over Elmina Sharks in Week 7 of the Ghana Premier League. Ibrahim Osman's 27th minute strike was enough to seal a slim victory for league leaders Kinfaisal over Elmina Sharks to ensure they stay top of the table. Seth Kwejo says scored to help Ashanti Gold break the jinx of not winning at Tsogakope against Wafa. Elsewhere, Karela won their first game since Week 3, beating Accra Lions convincingly with goals from George Amonu, Emmanuel Okran and Bashiru Umar. Legon City's blanked for the third straight game as they were held to a goalless draw against Brekum Chelsea in Accra. Patrick Kofi Ansu scored the only goal of the game in Midiame's narrow 1-0 win over Real Tamale United. Adriana Stars put up a brilliant performance against Great Olympics, recording a 1-0 win with Brighter J the goal scorer. Abbas Ganiu of Techiman 11 Wonders scored a 93rd minute goal to cancel out Samuel Boache's opener for Dreams FC in Friday's clash at the Ohinia Mayal Park. Asante Kotoko's clash against the Accra Hearts of Oak has been postponed due to the latest CAF engagement in Algeria. The results see Kinfaisal remain at top spot of the league. Adriana climb above Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and Dreams FC complete the top 4. Wafa, Brekum Chelsea and Hearts of Oak complete the bottom 3 of the league.
Up next is entertainment. Multiple award-winning hip life Maestro Maradona Yeboah, known in showbiz circles as Guru, has refuted claims of plagiarizing Tiflo's song. Speaking on Pan-African Television Swift Africa, he also touched on how his relevance in Ghana's music industry has paid off.
On the grounds, like if I'm learning the theory, let me put it into practice. So with that, I started managing artists while I was under a record label. And after you heard of me, I was investing in my own brand with my own money. And it got to the time, after producing you a number of hit songs, I came back and signed artists.
Yeah.
Which are very known to you. Some of them are even, let me give you a list.
Give us the list.
You know, Eno Baroni?
Yes.
Yes. She was, we had a deal. I signed her for some time, but I couldn't fulfill my part because I was still in a learning process.
Okay.
I had Kwesi Swat, which is he's doing good now. I had Singlet, I had Ofram Ponsa, I had Wuta, and I had it was 7 artists. And with that, aside me just building a different brand, I've been able to build another firm, like an empire that went there to go into my my CV. All these things will pop up, and trust me, it is a well thing to do and giving back to the society. Apart from that, we were able to come out with a big tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't crowd is saying, and it did work. So with that,
Even that there was an aftermath issue about the whole thing.
No. You can't success, no. You can't the about the success.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is music is a serious business and you need to take it serious. Don't come in when you are not ready. When you're able to build the grounds, build certain brand for yourself, take your time. You have more years to go. If it is 30 years and you'll be able to maintain one hit song or one hit song in 5 years, trust me, do it. Because it won't be all the time like coming. When was the last time even Jay-Z came out with an album? So why am I in a rush? I come out with songs to entertain the die-hard fans. But when I want it to go to the masses, I know how to put it. I'll talk about it. I'll pay much money to get it done. Now to make a hit is easy. You flow up with TikTok. You get people on influencers to talk about it. A few bloggers post here and there. The song is all over the place. So making a hit is now not that difficult.
But then making a hit is not difficult. Sustaining the brand and where you are is the problem now. Because you hear people with very good hit songs, but then 2-3 months. Well, that's it for today's episode of Pan African News. But before we go, a look again at our headlines. Cases of Omicron variant shoot up to 41. Now, deplorable roads in Oti region, motorists and commuters call on government for immediate attention. We brought you details of these stories live from our studios here, 48 Swanika Street, Abele, Accra, Ghana. My name, Ivy Abena Dede Narki-Teye. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
And nothing I decided true man capsules and so at their brand. I can't think of my sister could teach you with the ambition. At the account, now you're bare man, I